and we are live, baby. Woo! It feels good to be back. I absolutely love doing these live streams, guys. I got one thing to say. We have an amazing show for you today, baby. I am pumped. Let's go. Today is the day that we finally got a small pullback in the market. But why am I so excited? Why am I so excited about a pullback? Because pullbacks create opportunities. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? B Stewie. What's going on, B Stewie? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dan, Bob Dan, the greatest moderator alive, is in the chat. Who else we got in here? Roberto. What's going on, Robert? It's good to see you in here, brother. What's going on? Hello, gents. Mo Wealth, I am so pumped that you made it, and you are bringing up, hey, man, hey, we're doing that last. Mo Wealth, don't be saying SMMT. That's on my watch list, all right? Come on, brother. Will the real Bob please stand up? Yeah, baby, we got a couple Bobs in the chat today. I see you smashing them heart buttons, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We are going to be starting very, very soon. But guys, I got to tell you, we hit a lick, baby. We hit a lick. That NNE, when we go over my trades, I'm so pumped and pleased to tell you, I'm pleased as punch, baby. Why? Because we hit a 100%er. We hit a 100%er today. We did. It only took, what, 3-4 days? We'll go over it very soon. But we hit a 100%er on a stock, meaning we bought in and it went up over 100%. And we are still in that stock. I think most of you know, most of you have been here. What up, Covey? Yosef's in the building. Matt, what's going on, Matt? Amaya, what's going on? Holla at your boy. Good. Glad to see everybody in here. We are going to have an amazing show for you today, guys. We're going to go over the state of the market first. Then we'll go over the economic calendar, the data that came out today and the upcoming data that's coming out tomorrow. Okay, and then of course, we're gonna go over my trades. I exited out of one of those trades today. That was ANF. We're gonna go over the full trade, my full psychology behind the trade, and what I ended up actually making on this trade. Then, of course, we will go over the watch list. I have quite a few stocks on my boat. I can already see Mo Wealth wants to talk about one. Man, you're giving away the secrets already, Mo Wealth. You always have a great watch list, Mo Wealth, so it's good to see you in there. So make sure you're coming up while I'm chatting. Leave me in the background. Keep looking up those stock tickers, guys. And if you have any questions on any stock tickers, if you want analysis, or if you want to know if it's in my realm of that swing trading category, just throw it up in the chat. I'm either going to shit on it and I'm going to say, bruh, that's some garbage, you know, like, bruh. Come on, why are you sending me that, bro? You know, it's got to at least be up above a 200-day moving average. We want to see high volume push to the north side. We want to see it pull back, ride a 10 or 21-day moving average, and then you'll see me. That's what we want to see, baby. We want to see it get nice and tight and rip, tater chip to the north side. Of course, and when we see a stock like this, we want to give it to you. There has been plenty of trades that we have given to you that we have all made some juicy profits on. And now I think we can just jump right into it. Yes, sir. Let's see. Moel says it was on the picture while we were waiting for the live. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. SMMT, will definitely be going over that very, very soon. But first, I got to give you guys the announcement. Right before we start, I got to give the announcement. We got about 10 of you in here right now. I appreciate each and every one of you in here. You already know what I'm going to ask you to do. But before I even ask you to do it, I got to say, we are very, very close to hitting that 1,000 subscribers. It's every YouTuber's first milestone. And this community, we have made this not just my goal, not just Covey, not just Dan Bob, not just Predator, not just Yosef. It's everybody in this chat. It's everybody's goal to get to that first achievement for the YouTube, is that 1,000. And guys, we are so stinking close. This community, the squad as we like to call it, our squad is just, we are so overwhelmingly awesome, man. I mean, we're such a good tight-knit group, and we've been having so much freaking fun lately studying. I mean, when we do the study in the Discord, and then we hit up and we go to YouTube Live, and we're chasing our dreams right now, guys, because we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to make money. And you might as well grab a few friends on the way, because this trading shit can be extremely lonely at times. I know, first and foremost, because the first 4 years of my trading was just hell. You didn't know who to believe. You didn't know what to trust. There's so many scammers out in that financial area. And then here we are. We create this amazing community. And of course, if you join the Discord, we can't keep the scammers out of your DMs. I will never, ever reach out to you in any way unless it is through the general chat in our Discord. Why? Well, because there is no reason to. I don't need to ask how your day was. I don't need to ask for your money or anything. I can do that same thing, and I do it for you each and every day in the general chat where everybody can see it, right? Those scammers, they try to pick you off. Those scavengers try to pick you off, but we're smarter than that. So don't trust in that. Trust in the Discord's general chat or this YouTube live. It's absolutely beautiful, guys, and I'm so pumped we are all here. So congratulations. We are about, I think, 98. I don't know. I haven't checked, but it's flying. It's flying up there. I think we got 98 more subscribers till we hit that 1,000 subscriber. Every YouTuber's first goal, this community's first goal for our YouTube is to hit that 1,000 subscribers. So guys, thank you so much for getting me this far. This community is absolutely amazing. And let's do what we do, baby. Let's jump right in to the state of the market. Now, the S&P 500 had a correction. And guys, you know what tickles me pink? This just makes me laugh so much. When you get these big euphoric ramps up and you get above a 10-day moving average and everybody is calling for a correction, and then it just keeps on going higher and higher and higher. And now we've reached a new all-time high again today at $550.12. And then we have a pullback. And then that pullback, everybody's going, what the hell? Oh, the market's crashing. The market's crashing. Well, I tell you, if you're looking at the market, when you're looking on a 1-minute time frame like you see up here, it doesn't look good. We're below the VWAP the whole day, right? We're heading down hard and fast, and when it bounces, it can't get back above that VWAP. Sure, it looks like a bloody, scary sell-off, but that's not what we're looking at, guys. To stay cool, to stay calm, to stay collect, and revert yourself back to the mean, you need to look at the daily. You need to look at the larger time frames. So that's exactly what we did. Matt, we're definitely going to look at IREN. We're definitely going to look at that. It'll be the last thing that we do. So you make sure you stick around to the end, because I got a perfection style trading watch list for you. And Mo Wealth is already stealing some of my thunder. Covey's got a couple for us too. And Matt, IREN, yeah, we're definitely going to look at that one, baby. So you guys stick around to the end. So the S&P 500 had a pullback, but this isn't even bad news. We're above a rising 10 and 21-day moving average. It's absolutely beautiful, guys. There's literally nothing to argue with about on this, right? How you can't argue with this. This is absolutely beautiful. This is a healthy, digestive pullback in this market. This is what you want to see. This is exactly what you want to see. Covey, I love you too, brother. You know I love you. You're my right-hand man. You're my everything. Love you, buddy. But yeah, S&P 500, guys, we pulled back. Don't freak out. Calm down. Calm your tits, brah. Calm your tits. Everything is looking just fine in the S&P 500. Now, tomorrow, if we just have a huge sell-off, let's say we have more volume tomorrow to the downside and we start breaking some of these moving averages, sure, I'm going to be a little iffy. I'm going to be a little weird. I'm going to feel a little shaky there, right? I'm going to be more hands-off in the market. But you guys know where my cutoff line is. The line in the sand is that 21-day moving average. You see it right there. It's thick, it's red, it's juicy, it's beautiful. If we get below that thick, juicy, red, beautiful 21-day moving average, that's when I'm hands-off. This is where I was hands-off before. This is where things started to get shaky, okay? This is where I was hands-off. Now, if we come back here, look, remember this 6-day bloody sell-off? We've been calling it a 6-day bloody sell-off because it was scary. You didn't know when the drop was going to hit. That's why we were hands-off, because we broke the 21-day moving average. We were hands-off until we found a new correction, and sure enough, we found that new correction off the bounce of that $500 area, okay? Absolutely beautiful. Saeed, what's going on, Saeed? It's good to see you, brother. We'll definitely going over NVIDIA. You better believe we're going to go over NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a boat, guys. So the S&P 500 looking very constructive. If you want to consider this bad news on the daily time frame, well, I have good news to show you in just a second. Let's take a look at the market. The market in general has a pullback because tech is what leads the S&P 500. Okay, and you can see we had a sell-off in NVIDIA. We had a neutral change in Microsoft. We had a sell-off in AVGO, in Apple, in QCOM, in MU. All of your big boats sold off in this tech, and tech really leads the hand here. Now, there is some consumer discretionary and communication services that also is leading these, but look, they held up well. Healthcare held up well. Industry, energy, utilities, they all held up well. Financials held up well. But these big boats are what's having a pullback. Why? Guys, we have been going straight up. If we don't have a pullback, if we don't ingest some of this beautiful data, this straight up data, it will be considered a bubble. It will be considered euphoric. It will be considered a herd mentality. If you haven't heard of a herd mentality, that's what forces bubbles, and bubbles pop. So before the bubble pops, let's go ahead and release some of this gas. Let's bring that balloon back down, right? And let's start riding safely more towards the 10 and 21-day moving averages. So we're seeing a healthy momentum change in the stock on these pullbacks. Now, we've showed you this S&P 500. We showed you the QQQ. We showed you the heat map for the market watch to show you that there is a lot more green hanging out here as tech pulls down. So what's the next thing we like to look at? The breadth of the market. Everybody's been talking about the breadth in the market. I think it is important to know, but it's not important to trade upon, okay? I trade upon the S&P 500. As long as it holds above that 21-day moving average, we're doing A-okay, okay? But we want to know, we don't want to be caught off guard. And I told you when we broke down from this 50-day moving average, when we broke our trend line on this at RSP, which is the equally weighted S&P 500, I said when we pulled back up here, we would like to stay above these moving averages. That is going to show a positive influence. I said, guys, imagine with me for a second. Just imagine with me for 1 second that the market decides to head higher, and then the breadth in the market comes following, okay? So if tech wants to just drag the S&P 500 higher, and everybody's going, but it's just 4 or 5 stocks bringing this market up. Well, imagine if the breadth in the market then starts to turn around like we're starting to see right now. Imagine what that would do for the bull run. Tech starts to slow down, maybe trades sideways, or even heads down a little bit and starts riding the 21-day moving averages as the money starts to flow into different areas. And we can see that today we had a pullback in the S&P 500. We're starting to see more flow into different areas like the financials, okay? We're starting to see flow into those consumer discretionary, communication services. Consumer staples doesn't look nearly as hot, but look at energy, look at utilities, look at healthcare, okay? So cut the noise, don't cut the cheese, because I promise you, yes, baby, please, if we look at the RSP, you will see things are looking A-okay. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm not even at McDonald's, guys. Although I ate enough pizza, I feel like I ate McDonald's today. I'm feeling a little bloated. So here, cheers. This one's for me, not for you. I need this water. It was a hot, hot day out. Moel says, yes, Saeed, I love the video. It's back in play. Been waiting for it. Yeah. GME closed inside bar. We can go over GME a little bit later for sure. GME is very interesting. It was setting up a couple days ago, but after it broke down, I think it still needs some more time. Let's see. Saeed says, I feel the market goes down every day for each major and other increase. Yeah, we're actually going to go over the economic calendar really, really soon here. I just want to go over a few more things because after we look at the S&P 500, the QQQs, and we look at the RSP, the equally weighted S&P 500, there's one major thing that I like to look at. If you guys aren't already aware, it's the VIX Volatility Index. Sure, we came down. The VIX Volatility came up. There was a little bit of fear in the market, but obviously it being this low, no, I'm not worried about it at all. This is perfectly healthy to have little blurps of fear in the market, have a little bit of sell-off. That is when we start getting setups. As the market pulls back, as we do one of these numbers where it bounces off the 21-day moving average, that's when we start buying those trend breaks or the base breakouts. That's where we start to find the relatively strong stocks in the market that we have been preaching on this channel since day one. So please keep in mind, we welcome a pullback. Now, of course, if we're handling stocks and we're in stocks, we always want to see our stocks just continue higher. But if those stocks go straight up, it's going to be considered a bubble, and bubbles pop, and then you're going to lose money too fast, too quick. Okay? So that is the state of the market. Before we head on, do you guys have any questions about the state of the market? While we are here, I want you to take a look at my screen, ladies and gentlemen. Be Stewie. There we go. Make sure you guys hit that live. Make sure you're live. So smash this live button. It's right here on your screen, right here. It's right next to that mute button. Smash that live screen so you get brought right up to the front. If you're all the way back here, you hit that live, it'll bring you right up to the front. Hit that like button. Let me refresh here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got in this, baby. We got 9 likes already. We got 10 of you watching. Which one of you is it? I'm going to find you. All right. Hit that like button. I see love just streaming through here. Lots of love heading right back your way. We got 14 votes already on this poll. Love to see it. It looks like so far, green day in the S&P 500 for tomorrow. 57% say yes, 14 say no, and 29 in an overwhelming amount of you say polls are for nerds. That might be true. I am a nerd and I do like polls myself. So there you have it. Make sure you hit that like. And if you haven't already, guys, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We are so very close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, what's your take on the 21 June significant options expiry, OPEX? I will tell you what I think about that. I think it's just volatility. Everybody loves to mix in that options and mix in. It's just always a lot of volatility. That's what it is. And where do you see volatility? You see it in the charts. I don't really start to dwell on or think about any options activity. I really don't. Now, it can be useful. It might be useful in your trading, but what I use is this. It's very simple. Okay, if I'm in a trade and I know OPEX is going to be expiring, significant options expiring is going to happen, that's not going to make me say, oh, well, I'm not buying this trade then, or, oh, I better sell out of some of my shares. No, I have a process, and you guys know that process. If you've been with me long enough, you know that I have a process, and in that process, nowhere in it says, well, if there's expirations on options happening soon, then I need to take out X amount of shares. Hell no. Hell no. I would never do that. That's being way too speculative, and I don't want to overcomplicate my trading whatsoever. So to be very point blank, I don't give a crap what happens with that OPEX. I know a lot of people like to talk about it. They like to ingest it. And you know what? As a YouTuber, maybe I should look a little bit more into it so that way I can regurgitate some of the knowledge and information that I've learned. But what I know is that I have been constantly trying to cut out more and more nice, because the more simple I can make my trading, the more money I have been making. And that is the honest to God truth, guys. Keep it simple, stupid. All right. So I absolutely love that KISS. So that's my take on that, man. That's my take. So June 21st, we know that we have significant options expiry. You know what? Maybe, that might help. That might hurt the market, but I will see it right here. I'm not going to speculate whether or not that's going to be significantly good or bad for my account. We got the Discord up in the chat. If you guys want to take a look at the chat, Dan, the greatest moderator alive, has posted that Discord for you. Absolutely. And guys, one thing I really want to point out before we head on into my trades. Now, the whole reason why I use Thinkorswim, because that's the broker I have. But if you're looking for a very strong platform, this is what I use to scan for all my stocks and to go through all my ETFs, and that's TraderView. TraderView is absolutely an amazing and powerful tool. This is where we see our RS ratings on our stocks. So if we look up, like the stock we'll be going over today, ANF, you can see when we had this big move, I was watching ANF and I did all my studies on this. You can see it rode this 10-day moving average. You can see it had this cup with handle. Earnings was right here. You can get the information on earnings. You can see the RS rating right here. It's absolutely beautiful charting platform. I highly recommend it. And it's absolutely free. Dan will be posting this up in the chat as well. If you want to use my code, you'll get $15 off. But you don't even have to get $15 off, because you can use the free trial or just use it absolutely free. It's absolutely free, guys. Everything that I offer on here is absolutely free and will always be absolutely free. But if you want to up your game in this charting platform and get more, more lists on your watch list and stuff like that, they offer some stuff. You can get the essential plan. It's cheap. I think it's like $12 or $14 a month. You guys just go ahead and check that out if you want. But what I want to show you is exactly how I traded some of these trades. So let's go through some of the trades that I am in right now. Dan, thank you for putting that TradingView link in there for me, guys. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go through what I am in right now, and then we'll go through what I just exited out today. So ASTS, we are still holding ASTS. You can see I played a trend break on ASTS. It was a little extended from the 10-day moving average, but I really like how clean this looked on the hourly. We bought it in all the way down here at 786. We bought 900 shares. We exited 300 out after 1R and another 300 out at 832 at 2R, locking in some significant gains. As this based out, I seen another hourly trend break on 611. We added 100 shares more back into this trade, and we were up to 400 shares. This thing still kept rip, tater chipping to the north side, and now we're just holding on to this. If you guys know my trading well, you'll know exactly where my stop loss is, and that is after it closes below the 10-day moving average. We had a significant pullback the first day, and now we're just having an inside day today. Not too much to really go on about, but in total on these last 400 shares, we're up about $1,200, and I'm up probably around $1,600 total on this trade. So that was a very big win for me, and will continue to be if we can push past this $12 area. We've also pointed out that I think this thing can at least get up to 14 before we start to really see it shuttle and shake. This $12 area, you can see I already have it marked out on the VWAP area. We talked about how this is going to be an area. I'm expecting it to kind of trade sideways, hit its head on this $12 area, and if it wants to continue to be a leader in this market, ASTS will break through 12 on volume, and it will head up higher, reaching to that next area of $14 before it starts to find some more resistance. So we're down $68 on the day, but we're up over $1,200 on this last portion of 400 shares. So that's absolutely beautiful. And if you guys are not ready for this, you need to pay attention. This right here is gonna be one of the biggest trades of this year, I think. This is going to be absolutely awesome.
Another one.
NNE, baby. We call this out in the chat. Many stocks have we called out in this chat, but this might be the first one that we called out that went to 100 in 4 days. Shout out to Kobe for actually bringing the stock up the day before we called this out in the chat. I actually took this and I pulled it up today, actually. It was pretty damn cool. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this, guys. We go ahead and bought this at 744, right at this daily breakout, okay? This daily breakout was absolutely awesome, absolutely awesome. So it gets tight. We get a big move up on volume. We see this volume start to sell off. I even have this, look at this, the volume sell off, right? The volume contraction pattern coined by Mark Minervini was right here. Absolutely beautiful, okay? Absolutely beautiful. And as this thing contracted on volume, you've seen it rode, it surfed this 10-day moving average, and it started to get tighter. This thing got extremely tight on this day and then broke out on volume. When we've seen this breakout, on the 5-minute chart. This looks really yucky. Let me move to my other ones here. Let me move this to the 5-minute. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, check this out, guys. So this was where the trend broke, and you can see right here, the volume started to come in. We kept a close eye on it. We were waiting for this break, and then boom, it breaks, and it breaks on volume right here, higher than the past couple of days. So if we zoom out, you can see, if we look at the volume right here, the volume on this is much higher, much higher than the rest of these days back here, okay, except for this one volume blurb that stayed within its trend line, okay? So we get this push up, and I take some shares. We take some shares right here, and then boom, this is the candle. This is the candle. If you didn't get it right here, I could totally understand, but if you didn't take it right here on this candle as it pushed up through this area consolidation, that is where you went wrong. You need to study this chart right here, NNE, and then what does it do? Well, from there, we just started ripping, guys. This is another rip.
And when we see a stock like this, we want to let it rip.
And it did not slow down. Now, we did have a nice pullback that very next day, but that's A-okay. We already paid ourselves, guys. We used that low of the day. The $7 area was going to be our stop loss right here. So we had a very tight risk. And then we took off at 2R. We took half of these shares off, and we let the last half ride. Well, where our next breakout, our stop loss was going to be at break even. So that break even area is right here. So we gave it plenty of room to play. And sure enough, it's a good thing we did, because this thing pulled back very fast in the morning and then popped back up. And then look at this thing. We went from the area that we bought in, the area that we called it out in the Discord, and it reached a high of 120% move, guys. 120% move. I don't know what the hell more anybody wants in a stock. This right here is exactly why we do this, guys. Exactly why we do this, okay? These are the type of trades that if you study these, and when you see these trades happen right here, you load the boat. In 4 days, I'm up well over $1,000 on this trade. Okay, well over $1,000 on this trade. Easy money, guys, easy money. And I say easy money, and that's after years and years and years and years and years of trading and learning a process. I want to give you that jump start. That's why we want you in the Discord. That's why we want you here in the live stream, so we can study these setups, okay? Now, where's my next stop loss? I'm following this 10-day moving average. So that way I got all of this room. Sure, I might give back quite a bit of this. I don't care. I do not care. Why? Because Christian Quilamagi always holds 50% of his shares and he lets it ride. Because imagine with me. And he says the man with the biggest imagination wins. So imagine with me now that if I just continue to ride this 10-day moving average and this thing goes parabolic, let's say this thing, instead of stopping at 15, moves all the way up to 35. I sure as hell would be kicking myself in the ass if I sold any more shares of this. I'm willing to give some of this back. This isn't realized profits. This is unrealized profit. My realized profits are right here at 844, okay? And if it closes below this 950, I'll take the rest out. But right now, I'm gonna give it all the room to work. Why? Look at this volume, people. I would be an idiot to get out of this now, okay? I would also be an idiot to try and buy any more, because we're too far extended from the 10-day moving average. So make sure you don't have that fear of missing out. You know who you are. Don't fear missing out into this. All right, let's catch up on chat before we continue. That's it. I'm jumping off the building. Dan, Dan, you will not jump off of any building unless it's for a stunt that you're making good money on. We don't want you breaking a hip, old man. No way, dude. Maybe we need to pay more attention to the newer IPOs. Both Marks and William O'Neill, advocates for trading youthful stocks. Absolutely. And we are seeing ourselves in NNE. You're absolutely right. And we do. We actually do pay attention to these stocks. That's why when Covey brought this up, we were very excited about it, because not only was it above its high of its IPO price, but it also formed a trend line just above it. So that's a very good point, More Wealth. That's the whole reason why we were looking at this, because it is a new stock. There is no overhead resistance on this, so it's beautiful to see. Now, we had Saeed talking about NVIDIA. So let's take a look at NVIDIA. I just want to show you on this chart here, NVIDIA had a beautiful pullback today. This is what is going to knock out all of those weak hands. One thing I want to say, this is NVDL. It trades just like NVIDIA, but I used NVDL before the stock split, so I'm still holding my last 1/8 of my shares. Where do I stop out? Well, if this thing closes below that $74 area or the 10-day moving average, that is when I'm going to exit. But I have been holding these shares from 50, and it's still up $78. So I have actually taken plenty of money off. I'm still holding this trade. I'm up 58% on this trade, and at one point in time, I was up over 81% on this trade. Guys, I don't know if you understand this. I don't know if you understand this, but when you hear 100% moves or 80% moves that I'm actually taking, that's some boss shit right there, okay? That it really is, and you guys can do it too. I'm not bragging. I'm utilizing what I'm doing to try and amplify what I'm doing into you, so you can learn, you can understand, and we can trade these together. I know a lot of you are holding NVIDIA with me. I know a lot of you are in NNE with me, and a lot of you have been looking at ASTS. I know it was hard to get into ASTS, but a lot of you were watching ASTS with me, okay? There's ways to play these guys. That's why we study this crap, okay? So we can play them over and over and over again. This was an opening range breakout after that earnings gap up. Amandri, AVGO, well, we can go over AVGO. Well, let's finish going over these trades first. So NVDL, absolutely beautiful pullback today. Why do I not care? Well, first of all, I've already paid myself. I've already made plenty of money off the stock. And if it wants to close below this 10-day moving average, I will happily get out. On this last eighth of these shares, I'm still up $714 on the last eighth, guys. I've already paid myself. I don't even care about this money. This is unrealized profits, and if it closes below the 10-day moving average, I'll still be up a wild amount of money. So I'm absolutely proud and pumped to tell you guys I caught another beautiful, beautiful trade.
Another one.
All right, so let's go over my one trade that I got out of it. Jolene, what's going on, Jolene? It's good to see you. I have liked and subscribed. Let's share too. Jolene, you are a doll. Thank you so much. Yeah, 98 more to go. Let's go, baby. 98 more subscribers to go. I am so pumped. I can't wait to hit 1,000. We are going to celebrate. We are going to cheers right now. Actually, this one's for me, not for you. It's just water in here. And that's some good water. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, if you do me a quick favor, before we move on, I'm going to show you my one loser today. But while we are here, go ahead and vote on the day. Right now, we have the green day in the S&P 500 tomorrow. 50% of you say we're going to have a green day. It looks like 25% of you say we are going to have a red day and we are going to head lower. Love right back at you. And then, oddly enough, 25% of you are telling me that polls are for nerds. Well, I tell you what, I am a nerd. I really am a nerd, and I love nerds myself. So, not nerd ropes. Those things hurt my teeth. But all right, so I don't want to call this a loser, guys, because if I show you right now, this is TraderSync. You also, if you guys want to use TraderSync, you're more than welcome to use TraderSync. It's also an affiliate link of mine. You can check that out in the YouTube. This is how I track all my trades. This is how I track everything that I do. And this is how, once a trade is finished, I pull it up, right? I pull it up and I analyze the actual trade. So here's my dashboard of my TraderSync, and this is ANF. So ANF, I closed out today. We ended up $1,061 on this trade. So that was a very, very nice trade. Very happy that I took this trade. So let's go over ANF and see exactly what was going through my head here. So we have ANF. We see this huge move up on earnings, a huge pullback here, and it followed a trend line. Now, when we broke that trend line, we bought 100 shares. We sold out of 1/4 of those shares after we reached a huge price here. So let me see, how many are? So 35, 60, I mean, this was like 5 or 6 R that I made right here, guys. I took a quarter off at 5 or 6 R, and then we took another quarter off at 12%. Okay, we'll just go off by the percentage, guys. It was nuts. We made a lot of money off this. So 3.8%, we took off a quarter of our shares, and I took another quarter off here at 11.99%. And then we stopped out of this trade after it closed below not only the 10-day moving average, but, and it didn't close below the 10-day. After it broke the 10-day and broke below this new lower high, so we made new lower highs here. When it broke below this and the 10-day, I decided to exit because the market was extended. Okay, I did not want to give back all of these returns on my last 50 shares, so I did stop out right here. I thought this was a very good move because I didn't want to hold on to this when I could just as easily buy back in all of my shares if it held and then broke through this trend line. So that was the psychology behind of actually exiting this trade today before this big sell-off, and I'm sure happy that I did. So we were overly extended on the 10-day moving average and the S&P 500, and I could see weakness coming in on the tape. As it started to sell off, we were not holding this new higher low, and as we broke the 10-day moving average as it was curling down on the daily, I decided to exit this trade, and I'm very, very happy I did, knowing that at any time if this decided to curl back up, head back up and break this trend area, I could buy 100 shares and get full size back in again. So we made $1,000 on this trade, and this trade is officially over. Okay, so until it starts to ship shape back up, I am going to be hands off of ANF, and I'm going to wash my hands of this trade. I'm happy with it. Okay, I did expect this thing today to actually hold the 10-day moving average and break this trend line and head to the north side. Okay, so that was absolutely beautiful. That would have been a perfect trade to add back those 50 shares. but we did not. So that's A-okay. I'm happy with what happened there. So Jonathan Gomez, sup man? I'm pretty new at this and been learning a lot from your videos. Thank you very much for that. So you just buy shares or also do options. I do not mess with options. The big reason why I don't mess with options is plain and simple. There's time decay. There's extra added bullshit that they do to help complicate the trade. I cannot define my risk nearly as well as I can with equities and using areas of support and resistance. So I do not mess with options. And I found a lot of people like to use options because of the leverage that it brings. And with leverage brings bigger risk. If I need leverage, I just use my cash. I got plenty of cash. I have an account right now where I have up to $100,000 in buying power. And right now, with my risk and my risk tolerance, I'm happy with the $100,000 that I have to trade with. I don't need any more, and if I felt like I needed more, I would just put more money in my account and use the margin that they would give me, okay? So I do not mess with options, but that's a really good question, Jonathan. I personally would always tell everybody, if you're just starting, learn the equities, learn the shares side of things. Don't use options. Options has a lot more risk involved, in my personal opinion, and it also can be very confusing at first. Before anybody takes an options trade, it took me 4 years before I took my first options trade, and I took it and I hated it. I even made money. I made like $300 or $400 on my first options trade. Hated it, absolutely hated it. Hated getting in and out of it. Hated the fact that there was time decay and all this BS. And people are like, "Whoa, you can make so much money." Well, you can do the same thing with shares too, you know. But I don't knock anybody that does it. You know, the Big Short, the guy made all of his money on using options. I know a lot of bigger guys, you know, but Chris Quilamagi, he didn't use options, and that dude is my hero. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind too, guys. Chris Quilamagi did not use options. He used shares, okay? And that's just one of the people that we are with. And Jonathan, also, if you want to, you can join our Discord. We have meetings every single night except for Friday, Saturday. That's when I get to take a break from using my voice. So, all right, guys. So next up, we are going to be going into the watch list. So if you made it this far, congratulations. I'm happy that you made it this far. I'm absolutely pleased as punch that you made it this far. And if you have, we just need to do a quick reminder. Take a look at my screen, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we are going to be done using this voting poll here in just a minute. So if you haven't voted, I'd like for you to do it already. We got 14 of you watching and 13 likes already. So whoever didn't like it, I mean, come on. What do I got to do? Dance? I'll dance if I have to. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. All right, so now, what you all have been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, the stock market watch list. I feel like the FBI is going to come knocking on my door because this thing is so important. Like, FBI, open up! We're just doing the watch list. Give me a minute. All right, so we're going to start here. ORN. Now, Covey has got a few for me. Mo Wealth has a few for me. So if you don't see what you are watching on this watch list, what I need you to do is throw it up in the chat now, okay? Regurgitate that up or throw it up in the chat for me right now because ORN, we're gonna probably take that off my watch list now that I'm looking at it. So go ahead and throw up your tickers in the watch list and we can go over it. But remember, if you don't like it, or if I don't like it, I should say, I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna let you know why I don't like it, okay? Now, we're going to run through these. If I don't like it, I'm probably not going to go over it too quick. But UBXG, this is something that we're looking at. But now that it broke that 10-day moving average, I'm not looking at it today. We have CURV. CURV, I am going to keep my eye on this because we get this big push up, this big cup right here, and now we're forming a handle. Now, if we look at this on the weekly, I think it looks a lot better on the weekly. You got this big William O'Neill style cup. Then you're getting this handle coming off of it. Earnings has already passed. It showed positive. And now if we can break above this psychological and technical area of $7 on this area, that is definitely something that I'm watching for. We call this area a base breakout. We call this whole strategy, this whole look to this play right here, we call this a cup and handle. Okay, this is the William O'Neill cup and handle. This is the base breakout strategy. So it's two forms in one, and if we can get above the psychological $7 area, I think this has the potential to have a big move to the north side, okay? So just keep CURV on your watch list. Shout out to Dan Bob Dan, the greatest moderator alive, for giving me that watch list. We have SMR. Now, I did try to take SMR today, but if you guys didn't watch my YouTube short this morning, I had to go to a restaurant this morning to get Wi-Fi because my Wi-Fi was down here at home, so I had to run my butt down to the local restaurant. Shout out to you, Will, if you're listening. Will is in the Discord. He helped me out this morning. He got me all set up, brought me some coffee. He was like, dude, look, like, are you good? And I'm like, I don't know, is your internet good? It was not good. I tried to get into this trade. It would have stopped me out. So, hey, maybe, you know, God was watching me today. I don't know, whatever. But guys, this thing took off and then pulled right back. I still believe in SMR. I still think this can be extremely powerful, especially because if we look at NNE and we look at the heat map, we know that the NNE rate, I'm sorry, that's NEE, but if we look at energy right here, we know that that energy is doing really, really well right now. But clean energy specifically is doing even better than that, like the First Solars, the SMRs, the NNE, all of those areas are doing very well. So you definitely want to keep SMR on your watch list. It's breaking this basing type breakout, but it had this trend breakout. So if we can find an intraday take on this, like on the hourly, let's say on the hourly, if it sets up real nice, something clean here, you might be able to get in on it. Now, I do like where it's sitting. I would like to take a few shares in this, but I cannot take this if it gets any higher in this area. So I need to see something set up now or forever hold my peace. Now, Mo Wealth, I know that you called this out here earlier, but I tell you what, we have SMMT. So SMMT is in the therapeutics. We already showed you on the heat map that healthcare is still holding up very, very well, and it has been for a while now. If we go to my trader view here, guys, we can see that XLV, if I can spell, XLV is your healthcare sector. This is what I love about TraderView. I can save all my sector ETFs on this. And this right here is absolutely beautiful. If I just zoom out, I'll hit Alt R, and we zoom out on this, we can see where the ETF is at. What does this look like to you guys? Let me just show you. This is what I love about this. Check this out right here. Boom. I draw a ray down to the bottom. That right there is a beautiful trend line basing right on top of that 21-day moving average. Okay? It's getting really tight. Now, if this healthcare ETF decides to take off on this high tight flag right here, guys, you better believe we're going to get some movement to the north side. So if I just draw this out for you, this is the healthcare ETF, XLV. And if XLV wants to take off, well, guess what else is going to take off? SMMT, okay? So we also need to keep that in mind. This is a very powerful mover. It's squatting down right now on the 10-day, having an inside day. This could be absolutely powerful if it breaks that 815 area and heads to the north side. Now, what are we looking for when it breaks that 815? We are looking for volume. We are looking for volume. That's the main thing. If we don't see volume, we don't take it. Why didn't we take it right here? No volume. We need to see volume on these days. If there's not volume that is higher than the previous days, if we're not seeing a candle on the 5-minute candlestick chart that is higher than all the rest of these days, then I don't want this trade. I'll let it even run without me. There's been plenty of stocks that I gave the middle finger to because I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it unless there's volume, okay? So SMMT is on my watch list. Covey says HHA and HAHA. I'm guessing those probably aren't tickers. You're laughing at somebody. No, but Dan Bob brings up a great point. Kulamagi made hundreds of millions or 100 million in 4 to 5 years with just buying shares. Yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, he doesn't use options. And if he does, he doesn't talk about it very often, okay? Let's see, VLN and NU. We can go over those in just a second. Thoughts on TGTX? Definitely. Kobe says, yep, VLN is on your top watch list tomorrow. And what point are you considering the, let's see, what does that say? The breakout is SMR now with today's candle. So we already seen the breakout with SMR. We've already seen the breakout. Look, this was the breakout and it was on volume. So if we look at the 5-minute, you can see right here, This is the first day I tried to get into this because we had an hourly breakout, and I got into this, and look, it stopped me out by like 10 or 11 pennies. And now look, you know, now it's like I wish I used previous day, but it closed out. It cleared all this out, right? This was the volume right here for the breakout. Well, if you didn't get it this day and you watched, remember when you called this out, Mo Wealth, you actually called this out. And I remember replying to you because it was right here. There wasn't a ton of volume, but there was enough to consider it, but it did not break above this. Well, when it did right here on volume. Let me blow this up. So you actually called this out, Mo Wealth. You called this out in chat, and I said it needed more time. Well, it didn't. It got volume right like within a few minutes after you called that out. It broke above, and now look, it kept trading higher. Now it keeps coming back down and retesting that same area that's in the green, this green area. It keeps retesting. So it's showing that there is support here. Now the best base breakouts or the best trend breakouts just carry on and never look back, just like you see with NNE. SMR is in that same sector, but it's not getting that lift off. There could be a few reasons for this. One of them could be the way the market is. There could be some internal issues with the stock, the criteria, or maybe this stock is just moving a little different. But it's retesting this area, and if it wants to get ripping, then it may. So I'm looking for an intraday time frame where it might set up a base right here at 960, or maybe it sends up a new trend, kind of like you see this trend within a bigger trend here. So the base breakout or the trend breakout on this has already happened. There's no doubt about it. Right here was the area that was 2 days ago. So we had Juneteenth, and then the day before that, so I think that was Tuesday, right? Tuesday is when we had that. And you actually called it out, Mo Wealth. So congratulations to you, but it's unfortunate. I looked away. You know, I was out helping a friend, and I wasn't able to keep a closer eye on this to help you out. But I gotta say, you're really getting your eye for this thing. You'd still be break even on this trade, so it's not like, you know, we lost out on a ton of money. But when it comes to actually getting the perfect trade, the perfect process of this trade, this was the area to take it. That's why I marked it out in green right there. Okay. All right, so let me go through a few more of these, and then we're gonna go over VLN and NU, okay, guys? So we already went over SMMT, that's looking really good. HTLF, so HTLF is Heartland. So let's go ahead, and this is what I like about TraderView as well, guys. If it'll pop up, there we go. HTLF, is that what it was? Let me just double check here. HTLF, yeah. So HTLF, if I scroll down here, we can see Heartland Financial is finance. Now, I already showed you on the heat map, guys. This heat map shows you that financials is doing really well. We also can look up the financials, which I believe is XLF. So if we look at XLF, we can see that the financials are also doing really well at close or near all-time highs, creating another one of these flags here. So like we can go ahead and draw you out a base. You know, we have new higher lows. Here's a new a low. Here's a new higher low right here. Here's a new higher low right here. Okay. And now we have this area that's getting tight on top of that 21-day moving average. So this has an opportunity to break out right here, guys, right here. If this breaks out of this area, things are going to go much, much higher. So if we look at HTLF, excuse the print, if we look at HTLF, guys, we're going to see that this thing has an opportunity to break higher. Look how tight this is getting on that 30-day moving average. So I have my break set at 43.30. If it can get and take off out of here on volume, I think this is a very key area to watch. So if you don't have HTLF, Heartland, on your watch list, this is in a hot sector, and I think it has opportunity to head higher. We do have some overhead resistance over top of this. Oh, and what am I thinking, guys? I guess I didn't look at the ADR. This is too slow. This only moves 2.2%. So we're looking at it. It looks great. Everything looks great, but it's not inside my criteria. If you're into the slower stocks, this is a beautiful look, but it's too slow for me. So it's only 2.2% of the average daily range. So I'm actually going to take that off my watch list. But if you guys don't mind playing slower stocks, that might be one that is in your watch list. I also have USM, which is US Cellular. This is in the communication. So if we look up USM, we can see here, you get this big push up and an even bigger push up on volume here, a pullback. We have an RS rating right here of 98. I kind of want to change the color of this. Let's see, color of the RS rating. Yeah, let's make this white so we can see it a little better. There we go. So now we can see this a little bit better. I like the dark mode on this. It just makes it look a lot cleaner. So this thing's starting to get tight right here. We're getting a nice pullback and it's starting to get tight on this. The RS rating is 98. I absolutely love a high RS rating. Anything over 90 is going to be doing very, very well. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Covey. It does have a very low ADR rating. And so USM is looking really, really good. And it's in the cellular, it's in the communications. And if you guys didn't check already on the heat map, you can see the heat map right here. Communications is doing very well as the market pulled back today. So we really like to see communications continuing to hold up while this USM is holding up. So if this can break out on volume, I would like to see USM continue higher. So USM actually ADR is 6.7%. And if it can break above this 5350 area on volume, that's going to be a very, very nice stock to keep an eye on. Guys, make sure you're hitting that live button so that you are up to date on what you are watching. We have NRG. NRG had a little bit of a breakout, but it was riding the 50-day moving average. I think the more powerful moves are on the 10 and 21-day moving averages. So NRG is in that energy sector. I feel like if you're not in this already, you're not in it. You've already missed the move. But why I didn't take this is because there was no volume to back this up. So I'm kind of getting away from that. We also have BRCC. Now, if you guys don't have this on your watch list, I forget who brought up BRCC. I think that may have been More Wealth as well. But BRCC looks really tight here. I really like how it's doing. I really like some of these shakeout days that it has before it holds back up. So if we can just get a base breakout on volume, that would be very, very nice. We're starting to see a nice trend line up here to the north side. All right, it's holding up very well. And now we're getting this basing top and it's gonna squeeze. It's gonna get really tight, even maybe a couple more days for this to get a little tighter at this basing area. But if say tomorrow, all of a sudden this thing wants to rip tater chip to the north side, I'm not going to hold it back. So let's look up BRCC on our trading view. We can see the chart looks about the same. We have 93 RS rating, and we can see we're in the consumer non-durables, the food and candy. If you like candy, I know I like candy. And you can look at the income statements down here annually. You can see their net profit margin is continually heading up to the north side. This is what we want to see in a powerful leader, right? So BRCC might pose as a future leader as it continues to head to the north side. So keep BRCC on your watch list. Now, I have quite a few other stocks that I want to go over, but I want to make sure that we get to yours in your watch list. So this is where it gets juicy, people. VLN. Let's take a little peeky gander. Ooh-wee! What is VLN? Let's take a little look over VLN. Oops. I don't want to trade that stock. All right, VLN. It is in the semiconductor. It's in the electric technology semiconductor. Let's read a little bit about it. We see the annual. We're starting to see some net margin come on in here as the quarterly is not looking nearly as well as the annual, but Valens Semiconductor engages in the provisions of semiconductor productions. It operates through the audiovisual and automotive segments. The audiovisual segments delivers plug-and-play convergence and distributes interfaces through a single long-distance category cable. The automotive segment pertains to Valens automotive products, which enable in-vehicle connectivity and car architectures. That is absolutely beautiful chart look right here. The RS rating is 94, and we have an ADR of 5.1%. So this meets all the criteria, people, and it is in the hottest sector the past 2 years. The hottest sector has been what? Semiconductors. So I absolutely love to see this beautiful, beautiful chart.
Another one.
We want to see these charts. We want to see more charts like these. So thank you so much for pointing that out. Yosef in the building with another
one.
Beautiful stock. So thank you so much for bringing that up. And Covey, did he take all of yours? Let's take a look at NU. Let's take a look at NU. Actually, I need to put that one on my watch list right here. Let's go ahead and put that. That's probably going to be one of my top watches is VLN because that is very powerful. By the way it looks, I'd love to see. And you know what? Here's the cool thing too. We all know that NVIDIA is the leader, right? And look at NVIDIA's pullback, NVDA. NVIDIA's huge pullback, right? Huge pullback. And then if we look at VLN, look, VLN held up very well. It held up very well and already had a shakeout day. So now we're ready to trade this, right? So I would love to see this thing just rip to the north side. Rip, rip, tater chip, baby, to the north side. As long as we can see that.
And when we see a stock like this, we want to let
come in. This thing could be extremely powerful, and it can really get to moving. Okay, so we'll definitely keep a close eye on that one. It's above the 200-day moving average, above all rising moving averages as well. So I do like VLN. Dan, Dan put our new Facebook group community in the chat. So make sure that you keep a close eye on that. If you are a part of Facebook and you want to join our Facebook, everything's free. Everything we offer is free here, baby. So make sure that you click that Facebook. You can see some more of Dan's insights. You can climb into his brain, get nice and cozy. He brings up some more macroeconomic things as well as does deeper dives into some of the more questionable things that newer traders love to talk about, like what is a fake breakout? How is the Indian economy doing? And should we invest into your ETFs? Just a couple of things that he brought up into there. So if you like that, you definitely need to check that out. A Mandarin brought up AVGO again. We will get to AVGO in just a second. Thank you so much for sticking around as long as you have. So NU moves 3.4%. It's a little slower than I like to watch. And let's also look at NU on here, guys. So NU on this is rated at 92. So the RS rating is looking good, but the average daily range is much slower than I like to see. Why? Well, the higher the moves, the better and quicker you're going to make money. So I won't mess with this stock, but I will say I can understand why you're watching this, Yosef. This thing is trading sideways and forming this beautiful base. I do have this base marked out at that 1250 area, the 1234 area to be actually specific. It's creating exactly the type of pattern that we like to see here. I just wish it was a little bit faster, okay? And it's not really surfing any of the moving averages. It's just kind of chopping around here. But I understand why you're watching it. I like the base on here, and this could actually really be another one, okay? This could be. It could be. It's just a little too slow for me. So let's go ahead and look at AVGO, and then Dan Bob will definitely take a look at that BTBT, and Jonathan will hit PLTR in just a second. AVGO. So one thing about AVGO, guys, is we have to understand these pullbacks are normal. Broadcom had a humongous move on earnings, absolutely destroying their earnings per share by over $2.75 on every earnings. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, we won't look at BTBT then. Thanks, Dan Bob. But AVGO is absolutely huge. Now, it is a slower mover. That's why I'm not playing this, or I would have played an earnings gap up continuation play. But this thing moved up, jumped up to 1851.62, and now is pulling back down. If we're looking to try and swing trade something like this, even though it's a slower mover, we already know this is an RS rating that's blown out of proportion. Like AVGO, it's got to be a 99, right? Let's take a little peek. 98. Okay, it probably was at 99, but because it pulled back today, we're at 98. So Broadcom is in the communication sector. It's very hot sector, and it's doing very, very well, right? But what do I see here? I see absolutely nothing on the daily. Right now, it's in an area where it's trying to figure out what price it wants to slide into, right? So with this huge volatility, nobody really knows where this is going to land. But if it wants to create, let's say, a trend line here, right, and starts to bounce and hit this trend line and get really tight on a 10 or 21-day moving average, then we might have a future play, right? Or if it bounces off of, let's say, 851 multiple times here and just keeps popping back up and trading sideways, let's say for the next, month or 3 weeks, then it might break above this 1851 on volume, and that might be a trade. But currently, it's in an area of price discovery, and there's nothing we really can do but stay hands off and keep a close eye on it. Now, you guys know I'm in ASTS. ASTS was following AVGO for a while. I'm happy to say with AVGO having that big pullback, ASTS held up most of those gains. So the stock that I'm in is actually relatively strong compared to AVGO as AVGO keeps on moving higher. So let's look at PLTR because we got Jonathan bringing up PLTR. And I know it's been very hot. It also had a breakout a couple days ago on this trend. Let me go ahead and clean this chart up for us. Let's remove these. Let's remove all these drawings really quick here for you guys. And I'll just redraw this. So this is what I pointed out. First of all, it is a slower ADR. The average daily range is only 3.8%. And if we bring up the RS on PLTR, you'll notice that we are at a 93% rating. Okay, we're forming a nice cup. A nice cup. We might actually form a handle. But one thing I wanted to point out is that we have already hit this breakout area. We talked about this breakout area when it pushed up on volume, started to trade sideways, running into this, but creating new higher lows on this 10-day moving average. This was where the trade was, right here, guys. If not here, right here when it broke this top. Those were the areas for the trade. Now, it's already well extended above the 10-day moving average. I will not be able to trade this. Plus, it's not within my average daily range. It's just shy of it. I still may have traded this just because, but there's still a lot of beautiful trades out there that are moving much, much faster than PLTR. So it is doing what it should be doing on a trend breakout, and it's just digesting some of this. As you know, we had a pullback today in technology. So with PLTR pulling back in that technology area, it's doing exactly what it should. It's in an area of price discovery, and as long as we can continue higher, I think it can do that as long as we have volume to back that up. Now, its biggest area of resistance is going to be right here at this $27 area. It almost reached that $27 area, but I almost can guarantee you that if this thing moves right on up, it's going to smack into 27 because this is the highest area of volume that was traded that has the price. So the highest price that the most people are in is this $27 area. I think it's going to smack into this, maybe trade sideways. Maybe it forms a base at 27, and then we get a breakout to the north side on that. So I do like PLTR. I think it is looking very, very good. Bob Dan brings up SUPV. Let's take a look. Let me get a sip. So this one's a little different. Now, it's not really following any of the moving averages, so right off the get, I don't really care for this because it's just kind of ripping through these. But I will say this, we do see a clear trend on this thing, okay? It's a clear trend. Let's take a look at the RS rating. It looks like already it's going to be a little higher than most. But I tell you, there's a lot better trend breaks out there. 98 RS rating, and it's a higher ADR mover, so this looks good. It's very constructive. You know, you can see it's clearly on an uptrend, but I just can't really risk off of anything. It looks like this 21-day moving average was followed the best, but then it rips right through it and doesn't land on anything. Right here, it's kind of just chopping through all this, so I really can't give this too much time of day, and you don't see any volume sell-off. So what do I mean by that? Well, if we look at NNE, let's go back and look at NNE because it's our picture perfect. You can see a big move up on volume here, and then it sells off right here. So you can see it tries to pull back, but it doesn't pull back very much because not a lot of people are selling. And then when it breaks through, it's on volume. As to where if we look at SUPV, we can actually see that this volume is just sustaining. We don't see any volume sell-off on this, but I do see why you brought it up. It meets all the criteria aside from those few things. So yeah, and yes, that's another good point. We have a new lower low as well on that. So great point to bring that up. There is your low, and here's a new lower low. So that's also a bad sign on that, and thank you for pointing that out, More Wealth. But very good to bring that up. A few other honorable mentions is this SMCI. We had a nice deep study into SMCI, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. This was the breakout area, so we're going to continue to watch to see what happens to SMCI because it did chop around through this, but it created new higher lows on this, had a nice curl, and broke out to the north side. There was a couple areas you could have taken this. This would be the first. This would be the second. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, I heard a little something about Dell. Yeah, people were freaking out about Dell. I didn't want to trade this thing. It's not looking very constructive, but you could have said, oh, you know, here's the trend break. It's following the 50-day moving average, but I don't really care for this. I don't care for the stock, but a lot of people are talking about it. Now, one person brought up GME. So we can take a look at GME. Look at this. It is actually still being constructive. Who's the one that brought up GME? Let me just look back here. Matt, are you still with us? Have you been watching this whole time? I didn't forget about you, brother. You wanted to talk about GME. I hope you're still here. I'm going to cheers. Cheers. This one's for you, Matt. Not for me. It's for you, I promise. All right. Listen up, guys. This is GME. I really think that there's still more to go with GME. Here's the thing. We are seeing this huge push up higher, a pullback, and a volume sell-off. Matt still here? Wake up, baby, because Matthew is still with us. Matt, you've been waiting extremely patient. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. No, you're welcome, brother. I appreciate you. So check it out. We're looking at GameStop. Now, there's a lot of tension around GameStop. You know, you don't want to be an ape, or you don't want to be one of those guys. But if you look at the technical analysis on this, all of that stuff aside, I'm here to make money. This thing's following a 30-day moving average first and foremost. Second of all, when we had this volume pop up and then a sell-off, it's doing the volume contraction pattern. You can see people are holding. We're getting less volume now, sell-off, selling off. So if we break out higher and we start to head higher here on volume, of course, on volume, and we break this amazing trend here, I think it has an opportunity to head higher. But we do need to keep in mind where the largest areas of selling would be at. This $40 area is going to be one of the biggest areas that it's going to need to get through. Now, if we can make it from this $25 area and break out of this $26 or $27 area and we head higher, then guess what? We're going to probably head to 40 before we bring it back down. Now, we have to do that on volume, and it's very speculative stock. And you guys really have to understand that this is a make or break, rip your flippin' face off type of stock, okay? It's very volatile. You need to know and learn risk management before you take anything like this. If you don't know risk management, you don't trade this shit. You don't trade anything unless you know risk management. And we go over risk management almost every night in our Discord, so thank you for posting that, Dan, Bob, Dan, because we definitely want you guys to learn risk management, okay? So check that out, guys. We got another subscriber. We're doing it, baby. We're doing it big. Let's go. And yeah, Dan Bob put the Discord in the chat, so yeah, guys, GME, definitely keep it on your watch list. I think it's a sleeping giant. If it breaks this 2375 area, I think we have a possibility of heading lower, obviously, but we don't want to just take this off the plate. I really feel like a lot of the institutional ownership or a lot of the people that are trying to manipulate this are trying to get everybody to forget about this stock and then wake the sleeping giant up when everybody just is like, oh, holy cow, GME is still running. And then they have that fear of missing out and they start buy. And then the institutions sell off into them. That's what the market maker likes to do. So we need to really, really be careful with that. Matt says, I'm really weak in the risk management department. Matt, let me please change your direction. You're at a fork in the road right now. That fork in the road is a make or break your account. If you don't understand risk management, you need to join our Discord meetings. We're going to go over on, let's see, we have Friday, Saturday off. So Sunday, we have the big stock market meeting with Robinhood. We're going to be going over most likely on Monday. We will have Covey, actually. Covey will be with us on Monday. I'm starting to get the schedule down pat, Dan Bob. And Covey will go over some of that risk management with us. I think that'd be a good one, as well as his breakout and trend watch list. And I will also be going over a lot of the, I'll be bringing a watch list to help present as well. So make sure you join that Discord. You're in the Discord, Matt? Okay, well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we all have different names, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, we'll definitely get you up to snuff on that risk management. But yeah, dude, you have to learn risk management. It's very, very important to learn that risk management. You can really hurt your account if you don't, or your account will hurt you. So be very, very careful with that. Let's learn risk management. We have some of that in our YouTube channels already, okay? So guys, right before I head out, I need one more thing of you. Please, please, please pay attention. Just take a look at my screen. We're gonna end this poll. So I want you to, I'm gonna give you 2 seconds. If you have not voted on this poll, I want you to do it right now. We already have 18 votes. We'll try and get a couple more before we do this. But right now, will the market head higher tomorrow or lower? 50% of you say we're gonna have a green day tomorrow. I still think we're a little extended from the from the 10-day moving average, I still think it's very plausible for the market to digest and continue to either head lower or trade sideways. Either way, it will be very, very constructive. Or 28% of you said red day, we're heading lower, but 22% of you said polls are for nerds. And, you know, I get it. Polls are for nerds, guys, and we are the nerds, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and end that poll right meow. Ronnie Little says, thoughts on Broadcom? Dude, we just went over Broadcom, brother. I don't know, maybe you're not caught up in the chat yet or not, but that's A-okay. You just smash this live button to get caught up. But now you gotta watch it all the way through so that way you don't get left behind. That AVGO is that Broadcom, and we did go over it very thoroughly. Next, guys, make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. We do appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thank you so much for viewing, and it won't be long, guys. I give it one more month. One more month. Maybe we should make it a shorter time frame than a month. But I think by next month, by this time, we will hit 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal. I say rip, tater chip.
And when we see a stock like this, we want to let it rip, tater chip.
Breakouts. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you guys have an absolutely amazing night. We'll see you in the Discord. I'm going to hang out for a little while. Peace.